This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning and welcome to our regular council meeting for April 5th, 2022. We're going to do this one online today, and I'll be chairing this meeting as Mayor Ewan is in Regina for some AMM fun stuff. Now we'll do a quick round of introductions. We've got Councillor Janine Boulanger from Grand Point.
Morning, everybody.
Councillor Ron Memchuk from St. Adolphe.
Good morning, everybody.
Councillor Curtis Clayton from St. Agath.
Morning, everyone.
Our CAO, Mitch Duval.
Morning.
And in the background, we've got our assistant CAO back from maternity leave, Dominic Lemoine.
Good morning. Welcome back, Dominic. Thank you.
All right, let's get started. I'll call the meeting to order at 9:01. Got a mover?
Ron Mamchuk.
And a second?
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you. Cast your vote.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Get a mover.
Councillor Boulanger.
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you. Any changes you want to see or good as is?
Good here.
Good here.
Thank you. Cast your vote.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Item number 3, adoption of previous minutes. Get a mover
Councillor Mamchuk.
and a seconder.
Councillor Boulanger.
Mr. CEO, the floor is yours.
Last regular meeting was held March 16th, chaired by the other acting assistant CEO. At that meeting, we had council approve 3 variation orders, 1 conditional use, as well as a subdivision, and we also gave first reading to a road closing bylaw. And a very quick meeting from what I've heard.
Any questions or comments on that one?
Not here.
Good here.
Thank you. Cast your vote.
My voting is not open online, but I'm in here.
Just refresh. I noticed it was
Here we
missing,
go.
so
I spoke to you. I missed that one as well. Sorry, folks. We have that as carried.
Item number 4, committee reports. Get a mover
Councillor Mamchuk.
and a seconder, please.
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you. Mr. CEO.
Basically, Councillor Manchuk reported on the Seine Rat River watershed districts, a bunch of information there regarding surface water projects, livestock, well sealing, etc., all in his report.
Yeah, I've probably got a few pages to put together for Redboyne. They've been pretty active lately too, and just a few things on the go right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't do anything because I missed the last meeting, Shane.
Yeah, no, all good, Ron.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, same. I've got committee, and I was going to do it yesterday, but things came up. But Ron, can you maybe summarize? There's a lot of information there, and I went through it, but it's Greek to me. I just wanted, what's the big highlights?
It's so difficult to abbreviate something like that because I think all information is important. If you miss one thing out, it sort of has to be with the other. It's more for information than anything else. And there's a lot of projects that are going on in the St. Rat River Water District right now, and the same thing with the Redboyne. We got extra funding from the government, and we want to make sure that we put the funds into good use, and that's why I figured I'd put everything. And then if there's any questions there, everything's all there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Aye.
Cast your vote.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5.1 under finance, accounts not paid to be approved. Can you get a mover
Councillor Clayton.
and a seconder, please?
Councillor Boulanger.
Thank you. Your CEO.
We have two batches of not paid. Batch 15901, total of 275,760 and change, as well as batch 15904 in the amount of $977.33. The big batch of 275,760, I put a quick summary report to council as far as those costs. Those are all included in there, anything basically over the $5,000 mark. The biggest one is a contact project being done at the Reach Out Water Plant, about $56,000. The rest are all part of operational. Friesen Drillers is also part of the Randolph well study that we're ongoing with the province as well. So some of that is cost shared with the province. Other than that, not much else to report. Open for questions.
Thank you for your report. Any questions from council?
Not here.
Oh, looks good.
Thank you. Cast your vote.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Moving on, 5.2 council indemnities. Get a mover.
Councillor
Councillor
Mamchuk.
Boulanger.
Councillor Mamchuk first and second by Councillor Boulanger.
The indemnities are for the month of March for council. Hours range between the low person of 10 hours to the high person of 20 hours. Nothing much to report on that. Seems to be consistent, other than Councillor Mamchuk coming back from vacation, missed a few days. So all good on from what I could tell.
Thank you. Any questions from council on that?
Not here.
Oh, okay.
Cast your vote, please.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Item 5.3, payroll to be approved. Can I have a mover, please?
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you.
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you.
We have two payrolls for council approve. Payroll 5 is from February the 27th to March 12th. Payroll 6 is March 13th to the 26th. For both payrolls, basically quite a bit of overtime as far as public works goes. I believe we were still in some not so blessed weather in those periods, as well as nicer weather with the spring thaw going the way it is. However, public works busy opening up ditches and steaming up culverts, etc., etc. I did touch base with Public Works Manager yesterday to see how the overtime will be moving forward, and he says as of yesterday things will be improving quite a bit. So as far as less overtime, not more overtime. So
Thank you. Any questions on that?
Not here, thank you.
Oh,
Okay, thank you. Cast your vote.
That is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6.1, bylaws to consider. Bylaw 3-2022, municipal resources during elections. First reading. Can I get a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Councillor Belanger and second Councillor Mamchuk. Mr. Mayor, or Mr. CEO.
I've been called worse, Deputy Mayor, no problem. In this situation here, I kind of discussed this matter with council at a regular council meeting in the past. This is a provincial initiative that has been forwarded to the municipalities. As far as the province, they are seeking cooperation from the municipalities in regards to implementing a bylaw regarding uses of municipal resources during the election period. This is to ensure that all candidates, not only the incumbents, but all candidates have a fair and equal playing field when campaigning out there. The bylaw, there was a sample template that was provided by the province. However, the main concern from most municipalities from who I've been in contact with is in regards to enforcement of this bylaw. It kind of puts the staff and into a very precarious situation trying to enforce a bylaw upon possibly their future bosses with the elections. So I reached out to the province, and the province basically says, well, the enforcement part is up to the municipalities to decide what they want to do. So they basically didn't do much there. As far as that goes, I also reached out to our legal counsel, and legal counsel, with the template of the province, came up with what you see on before you right now. So this is a document not from the province, but from our legal counsel. I prefer this one a little bit better. It doesn't leave, how can I say this? It doesn't leave much more to add or delete to it. And the part of the enforcement is clearer than what the province had provided us to begin with. So just touching base on the offense and enforcement, Clause 6 states that a person who contravenes this bylaw is guilty of an offense and is liable of a conviction to a fine of not more than $5,000. And then number 7, it basically appoints a person designated by the municipality to enforce these bylaws to enforce this bylaw. Now, there's 2 ways of enforcing municipal bylaws. There's the MBEA, Municipal Bylaw Enforcement Act, or the POA, Provincial Offences Act. The MBEA is regarding our screening officer, I believe. What I would like to go with is more than likely the POA, the Provincial Offences Act. So that way, if somebody does something wrong and is subject to a fine, any appeals would then have to go to the provincial courts and let them decide if they've been in contravention of the municipal bylaw. It takes the responsibilities out of the hands of the employees and the staff, and doesn't put us in that precarious situation. I really don't see this being too much of a concern to the municipalities if everybody plays fair, and that's basically what it boils down to. If you respect what the bylaw says, there should be no problems. It creates a playing field for everybody. So, any questions on that?
I have a question about, it says registered candidate. So in the event that there's only one person in the ward running, they're still a registered candidate though, right? So they'd have, not that you're really campaigning, but maybe you want to go out and do some campaigning. I guess that applies to them as well, right?
Yes, it does. Yeah, exactly. So whenever you sign the dotted line as a registered candidate,
Right.
that puts you in the loop of things. So everybody must have. If you're not sure, if you're going out door to door and just talking to people, that's fine. But there's also the period must close. The restriction, the registered candidate has to somehow commit at a certain point in time, so that way we can prepare the ballots, et cetera. So I think before too long, the bylaw would kick in regardless if you're registered or not. So.
Right. Okay, thank you.
But if you're the only candidate, Jenny, I don't think there's going to be anybody that gives you heck if you go around with your RM shirt on.
That's what I was wondering, just so that they know who I am, but
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it might be like just any TV sponsorship. You may have to put a black piece of tape on that logo as well.
For all those interviews I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions from council on that?
Not right now, thank you.
Okay, we'll call for the question.
I will need an extra second. My online voting's not working. It's a me thing. I'm in favor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Clayton. Moving on to, get the results on that there, Mr. CEO.
And that would be carried 4-0.
Thank you. Item 6.2, bylaw 3-2022, municipal resources during elections, second reading. Can I get a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Councillor Mamchuk, second by Councillor Clayton. Any further discussion?
Not here, sir.
Thank you. Let's cast our vote.
The vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. New and other business, item 7.11, development agreement with Brian Boulay Recreational Retreat 1970 PR 200. Can I get a mover?
Councillor Blanchet.
Thank you. Seconder?
Who'd you go for first?
Sorry, I was looking up, so I didn't see who was. I just heard Janine. Councillor Clayton.
I'll second. It must have been the first time.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Mr. CEO, the floor is yours.
Okay. So basically, Ms. Boulay has applied for conditional use a while back. The development agreement is in place. Our planning person put a Coles notes for council. Basically, the terms, general terms for the noise, parking, signage, and lighting are in there. There's not going to be any permanent structures to be allowed. The developer must inspect the riverbank on yearly and report that back to the municipality with pictures and documentation of the riverbank, as well that they will assume any risk from flooding and bank instability and release the RM from all liabilities concerning the project. So this pretty much will conclude, and she could be on her merry way with her beautiful project.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from council on that, or any concerns with the development agreement?
Just in the Coles notes, it says must inspect the riverbank. So does it say in the agreement? I did read the geotech report and a bit of the development agreement, but who is that by a professional or just by, it says developer must inspect. So what kind of documents are going to be required legally?
Well, I think just I haven't gone through the full development agreement, but regardless, it would have to be something that is satisfactory to the RM. I think if the documentation is written on a napkin, I don't think that's suitable enough. If, but mind you, having a person geotech sign off on it, that could be costly on a yearly basis.
No,
So
no,
I
yeah.
think there's got to be some compromise in between. So satisfactory to the RM, I would be lenient on the satisfactory portion.
Thank you.
I believe Councillor Mamchuk had some questions as well.
I just wanted to make a comment on this. It'll be a good fit for that area. The thing is that is the riverbank going to be inspected on yearly basis because it's in a flood zone and it's hard to say how it's going to happen from year to year. Is that going to be the RM responsibility to look after that, or that's just going to be up to them to make sure that the riverbanks are not too eroded to cause any issues?
From what I gather in the DA, it's the developer must inspect the riverbank twice a year.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. That's all, Mr. Pilche.
Thank you. Councillor Clayton, any?
Yeah, no, I'm good with this. I thought the geotech report was well done, and the way the report reads is that the applicants, I think the recommendation is to go to the same company that did the tech report for their feedback on the stability of the riverbanks. I know there's a lot of debate over development this close to the river, but being temporary structures, I think that it's an okay fit. And it looks like a beautiful development or business. Yeah.
Well, it's good for recreation, that's for sure.
Yep. All right. If no further questions, cast your vote.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Item 712, Sonnet Chisholm Development Agreement, 1181 Habitat 9 lots. Can I get a mover, please?
Councillor Belanger.
Thank you. And second?
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you. Mr. CAO, the floor is yours.
Again, this is a standard development agreement that we usually enter with developers. Our planning person included a Coles Notes again summarizing this. Part of the development agreement is that there'll have to be a drainage easement declaration to allow proper drainage to occur in the area for those lots. The developer will need to approve the building plans and building permits prior to the permits being issued, so control on the development. The developer will also provide the municipality and the lot purchasers with that architectural scheme and design. Part to do with our infrastructure is that the minimum half power horsepower sewage pump will be required and the tanks are going to have to be pumped out annually. There's going to be on-site drainage works. The developer must provide a letter of credit, lot fees, and payment in lieu of green space. That's standard. One of the conditions that we had put in the conditional use and the subdivision process was the removal of the shop. Now, in order for the lots to start being legally subdivided, that condition must be met. They are asking to have a little bit of leeway. So we're going to put it in the development agreement that the shed needs to be removed by August 31st. And the next resolution that council has will be removing that condition from the subdivision so that we could process, the province can process the subdivision. So just a little bit of timing more than anything else on the matter. And frontages will not be from Habitat Road, but off of the development road that they are constructing. And the purchasers of the lots are to plant at least one tree. And the control we have there is regarding the building permit, landscaping deposit that they put in. So no tree, no deposit. Any questions?
Not here.
Not here.
More a statement than a question on, I guess when we scan these in, we scan them in so that they can go nicely on 8.5 by 11s. Page 20 and 21, can't read anything, even though I know it discusses concrete swales, but I can't zoom in enough. And yes, I had my glasses on to read it. They got scanned to too small a size. Other than that, everything looks awesome.
Scrolling down there right now. Oh, and you can't blow it up either?
No,
No,
it just blurs out.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That happens from time to time. We'll see if we could find a better PDF or something for Councillor Deputy
yeah,
Mayor.
no, it's all good because I saw the originals when we were discussing it. We met with the applicant on site to discuss. So just for, I don't know, maybe we can throw in different PDFs when we're looking at these so everyone can see what they actually say.
And that was pages 20.
Just 20 and 21 that I noticed, because when
Okay.
we got them from the engineers, they were probably legal size or whatever, or the bigger size that we scanned it in to fit a nice package.
I have a question about the sewage pumps and tanks. Is that how that whole area is? Like low pressure sewage? Is that so they all have tanks in that area, like or on each street or something, or
At each property.
at each? Oh, oh, I see. Okay, I thought maybe a combined or something. Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. We'll call for the vote.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Item 713, 4165-20-7922. Sonachishin, removal of condition. I get a mover.
Ron Mamchuk.
Thank you, sir. And seconder.
Councillor Clay.
Thank you.
As indicated earlier, it's just the removal of the shed as part of the subdivision process in order to expedite matters quickly.
Thank you. Any questions?
Not here.
Councillor vote.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Under others, item 7.2.1, l'Association des municipalités bilingues, AMBM, contribution. Can I get a mover?
Mr. Mamchuk.
Councillor Clayton first and Councillor Mamchuk second.
This is a yearly thing that the council needs to pass a resolution regarding some funding available through l'AMBM. L'AMBM continues to provide municipalities support towards our two official languages. I attended a seminar on last Thursday, regarding l'AMBM and what they're doing for the municipalities out there. I think what we'll be doing as well is, as far as we being a bilingual municipalities of both official languages, we'll need to likely maybe put a bit more emphasis on publicizing materials in both official French languages. Currently, we tend not to, but that doesn't remove us from providing the service. Anybody who calls in, who comes to the counter, who requires French services, are provided that with great pleasure. So just a matter of trying to stay on top of things a little bit better. Now and BAM will be doing some assistance in self-evaluating as far as what services are being provided by municipalities, and try to improve on those services as to where we want to try to be in the future. So we'll take it a step at a time and improve on a yearly basis. Any questions?
Not here, sir.
So for the funding that we do receive right now, I know like the website would be sort of a major communication tool that we have in both official languages, correct?
The website tool, we could look at Connect. There's other materials. The tax bills are already bilingual. Utility bills, I'm not sure. So those are the types of communication pieces that we would have to look at, for sure, including our minutes.
Well, no, I just know that, you know, for the funding that we receive, I know it seems like, in my opinion, we're doing a good job of, you know, translating into both official languages. And just focusing, you know, on the website, I know that, you know, we get translation services in that respect. All good.
I think we could definitely use more of their services in the future, and the turnaround is pretty good. So.
Any other questions from council?
Not here. I think it's a very good idea.
Okay, we'll call for the question.
Resolution is carried 4-0.
Moving on to item number 10, adjournment. Can I get a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you. And second?
Councillor Blanger.
Thank you. Any discussion on that?
Not here, sir.
All right, let's go vote.
Vote is carried 4-0.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Dominic, you can stop recording.
See you.